let's talk about DNA.
John's blood.
It ought to be.
Like, yeah.
If it ripped him open, it ought to have had some blood. Now,
Okay. The taillight of the vehicle, number one, did not rip John's arm open. They are called abrasions. You do not bleed out from abrasions. It's like having your dog or cat scratch you a little bit. You might have a tiny bit of blood, maybe, but you're not going to bleed profusely. Okay, number one. Number two, all of that was in the snow. Okay, so any of those taillight pieces and all of the other things that fell off of Karen's car and all of that was in the snow for hours, days, weeks. So that doesn't mean that there couldn't be DNA on it, but the likelihood of that is not going to be high. Third, the DNA that was found inside the taillight housing, boys. Inside the taillight housing. That is where John O'Keefe's DNA is found. John O'Keefe's DNA is not going to be inside of a taillight housing on a vehicle of his mother, brother, sister, girlfriend, boyfriend, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, grandpa, grandmother. You are not going to find anybody's DNA inside of a taillight housing except perhaps somebody who made that taillight housing. It is inside. The only time DNA gets inside is when you're manufacturing that, which ideally people are going to be wearing gloves, so that ideally won't happen, or when the taillight is broken, and therefore DNA gets inside of that taillight housing. Karen's taillight was broken that night that John O'Keefe was left in the lawn to die. What, pray tell me, are the odds of such a thing happening? Those were Karen Reed's own words. I don't know what happened to my taillight. It happened last night. That is what she told, I don't remember if it was both Buchanan and Proctor that went there to speak with her, but at least one of them, if not both of them. That was her statement that morning. I don't know what happened, but it happened last night. Your boyfriend that you dropped off the night before was found in the place that you left him, and your taillight broke that night. You tell me what the hell kind of odds there are on something like that happening. I would really like to know a calculation on that, because that is one piece of evidence that I want to hear somebody with an intellectual mind that believes that Karen Reed is factually innocent. I would love to hear you explain that to me. Even just take the whole, I dropped him off in this place, which is where he was found dying, and my taillight was broken. Just explain that, and then add on the whole DNA inside the taillight housing. Please, pray tell me how that happens.
as apparently some of his DNA, but of course the problem with that is that's his essentially live-in girlfriend's car. It's not a big deal that touch DNA.
Yes, it is. As forementioned, it is a big deal that his DNA is inside the taillight housing, Betterow and Turtle Boy. Neither of you are stupid people, but you sure act like it on YouTube.
It would be on the taillight. Now, blood might be a different story, but they don't have that.
No.
And they may have blood. You know, Karen Reed had many hours to figure out what she was doing. I would not be surprised if she cleaned areas of her vehicle that morning. Now, I have no evidence of that. That has not even been brought up in court or in any kind of paperwork that I've read, but I'm just saying. She knew her taillight was broken. She made a big deal about telling everybody the next morning before they even found John that her taillight was broken. She was trying to diffuse the suspicion from her when all she was doing was just looking like a crazy person. And then when they started figuring out what actually happened, everybody was in shock and couldn't process what in the hell that this person that was supposed to love him did. And I'm just going to quick say this right now. I was on a panel last night. I am going to try to do something on this YouTube situation here because I do hear people that seem to have some intelligence that seem to not be grifting. There seems to be some people that actually honestly believe some of this stuff. And I would really like to have some conversations with them. The creators that I've reached out to just straight up ignore me. And that is how I know that they're grifting. Because me as an adult person, and an intellectual person, and dare I say an intelligent person, literally love having conversations with people to help myself learn and understand things better. I am never going to learn and understand anything better if I live in an echo chamber. If everybody that I speak to in my entire life yes mans me. That's disgusting. It is not the kind of society I want to live in. And it's freaking the hell out of me that people seem to be gravitating toward that, and especially in this case. I have seen a few now come out that are inviting people on, but they have had 2 years of nonsense shoved down their throat to the point that they believe things that were actually factually disproven in the court of law that they are straight up ignoring. So those are the people that I would like to have a conversation with to understand where the disconnect is, because I don't think that they have actually investigated. I think that they want to believe in a conspiracy because yes, there is corruption, and yes, there is corruption most likely in this area. But this is not the case, folks. I've said it once and I'll say it 1,000,000 times. This man died because of his girlfriend, and she had 6 hours to do something about it. And she didn't. She did not get him help because she was more concerned about her own ass. Okay? And then, as if that's not enough, and this is what really pisses me off, because shit happens and people are crazy and gross. Like, I could be upset about it, but this is why I'm livid about it, is because of the shit that she has done afterward. All of this has been a Karen Reed production. She is the producer, the director, and the actress, the main lead actress. This is vile and disgusting and psychopathic. And there is no way to sugarcoat the shit that she has done since this horrible tragedy in the first place. She is compounding it 1,000,000 times more. And that's what pisses me off. And that's why it pisses me off when I hear people raising money for that bitch using John O'Keefe's name. If you want to be helping this woman with your blinders on, and a lot of you are doing it knowing that she's guilty, which disgusts me and scares the living shit out of me. But I don't have people like you in my life for a reason. So hopefully I don't ever have to have people like you in my life without my choice being entered into that scenario. So that's your bullshit, disgusting thing that you need to sleep with yourself at night about. The rest of you that are choosing to support this woman without doing a full, thorough research and investigation of your own, and doing it in John O'Keefe's name and claiming that you want justice for John O'Keefe and that justice for John O'Keefe means that that bitch is free, I'm sorry, knock it the fuck off. You do what you do. You do not bring that man's name into anything that has to do with her. If she gave two shits about John O'Keefe, she would have said long ago, knock it off, support me, that's great. I am wrongfully accused, which is bullshit, but go ahead and fucking believe it if you want to, folks. But she would not allow this shit to happen, much less be the puppet master of it. She is the puppet master, and it will be proven. There are things that are going to come out that many of you are going to really be trying to chase your tail about, trying to figure out how you can make excuses for her when this stuff comes out. It's disgusting. But what I want to do is I want to, and obviously I have a deep care for this woman because it is disgraceful. It is psychopathic. It is murderous plus terrorist. It's like, it's beyond anything I can fucking comprehend. Okay? But what I want to do is I want to have an open discussion panel. I'm the smallest channel on YouTube, but I want people to start to have difficult conversations and relearn how to have disagreements in a respectful way, because it doesn't seem like most of our society can handle that anymore. And if that's the kind of role models that our younger generations have as adults to look up to, we are all fucked. These younger generations are going to be running our world and taking care of us when we're old. And we're not teaching them how to do anything productive except be closed-minded assholes and call everybody names if they don't agree with everything that comes out of their mouth. We need to do better, America and the rest of the world. So, I know that clearly I have researched, I do know as good as anybody who wasn't actually there knows what happened based on the evidence, folks. And people want to say, none of us know. It's like, no, none of us know. That's right. But you know how many court cases go to trial every day in the United States of America without eyewitnesses and without camera footage? Like, cases are built on circumstantial evidence. You start stacking up all of these things. The one thing that I discussed right now is this DNA and stuff on the taillight and the broken taillight. Like, there's one piece. I would like one intelligent person to intellectually explain to me how any of that makes any fucking sense in the Karen Reed is Innocence campaign. I literally do. I'm open to hearing you. I want people to treat people like people again. So that's what I'm going to try to do. So keep your eyes open. And if you're not a grifter, and if you'd like to have intellectual conversations about tough things in the world, and you'd like to have, teach your children how to do that and your grandchildren how to do that and keep, moving our society in a productive way, then I hope to see you and hear you there.
And shouldn't they have it? If you cut someone with a knife,